Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So we've just finished up our endeavors in the Fire Sanctuary, thwarted Girahim once again, and infused our blade with the final sacred flame, making it the Master Sword. Awesome, check that out. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Okay, so before we head back up into the sky, our next story objective is to head back to the sealed grounds, and of course activate that Gate of Time that we saw way back when. But before we do that, we've got just one little thing to take care of. Remember, there was a gossip stone here. We can actually burrow into the mountain in front of it, and if you remember, that gossip stone told us to get to a piece of heart, we're going to have to burrow into the ground somewhere around there. So that's what we're doing at this point. Then once we crawl up, we get to this cool little room with a bunch of fairies going around and a piece of heart kind of on a pedestal there. It's pretty neat, actually. I kind of like this place. You know, this would be a good place to kind of take a rest or something. It's isolated from everything. It's pretty cool. So I think we could actually use a fairy. So we'll go ahead and, come on, bottle it. There we go. It's not usually that picky. I guess I was just really bad about grabbing it. Okay, so let's of course pick up the piece of heart. There are only 3 more to go. This time it's actually counting down the last ones in the game, so it's pretty cool. So now, of course, to get back out, we're going to have to burrow back through here. And up we go. Cool. Okay, so we are now finished in this region. Like I said before, we can head back up to the sky. There are going to be a couple side quests, of course, opening up for us around this point in the game. There's actually, I believe, only one available to us right now at this very moment, but within the next few story events, a couple more will open up, so we might just wait a little bit for that. Of course, one pressing issue we still have to take care of up here is to get all those goddess chests that we unlocked. And I believe there are 3 in total, maybe? I guess we could take a look at the map and find out. You can see, there's one down here on Fun Fun Island, the other 2 are inside the Thunderhead, which is a little annoying, but we'll get to them all the same. So I think we should probably go ahead and take care of that now. So I'll go ahead and make my first marker here, and then we'll get to it. Okay, so we're coming up on the first chest here. It's actually right underneath Fun Fun Island. I did a fantastic job setting that marker. Look at that. It's actually touching the chest, which is kind of cool. And apparently it knows to go through Fun Fun Island, which is a little strange, but yeah, I guess it works. I've got to open it from this side. Alright, so the first goddess chest we open up is going to have 300 rupees inside. Nothing too big, but you know, you might as well get it, I guess. Money is money. Now, of course, like I said before, the next 2 are in the Thunderhead, so let's get going. Okay, so the first goddess chest we're going to pick up is actually right on top of the Isle of Songs here. This is actually a pretty cool place for a chest, if you ask me. I mean, this is about as high up in the sky as you can get a nice view of the place. So let's go ahead and open this one up. I don't think this one is too important either. In fact, I think it might be kind of worthless. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a small bomb bag. You can carry 5 extra bombs. If you ask me, that's kind of a waste of an inventory slot. So thankfully, that one's going to get sent to item check. And the next one's going to be right over here on this island. Now, so we take a look. This is actually a fairly complex little island, as you can see. There's nothing really on it for us right now, but this is, of course, what we're going to be coming back to later. The treasure is hidden on this little patch over here. You can get to it by falling, or I believe you might be able to jump off from the top of that. I'm pretty sure you can get up there. But of course, that would require exploration and walking around and stuff, so we're not going to bother. However, this chest contains a piece of heart, only 2 more to go. That's pretty cool. And we've now completed our world expedition for goddess chests. So, let's get back to it, shall we? So since we're now exiting the Thunderhead, I guess we could talk a little bit about what we need to do next. Of course, like I mentioned before, there is a side quest that's open to us, and it is actually going to be started at Skyloft. However, there's really only the one side quest, and there's actually not a whole lot else to do there for the time being. We're also going to return to Skyloft for story purposes sometime soon. Man, all these tornadoes are really getting in the way. So we're going to be going back there for story purposes sometimes too, which means, as you can see, I'm going to be skipping it for the time being. I'm also pretty excited to get to this next region, because there's actually, I personally think, one of the better scenes in the game coming up here. So I'm actually pretty excited to get to it. And it doesn't make too much sense to just go around wasting time with side quests. I say we get right to the story action. So we're approaching the little portal here to drop us off back at Farron Woods. Now, we are, of course, going to be going to the sealed temple, but we've got just one little thing to do before that. Thankfully, it's just outside the temple. It's actually behind the temple. So that's where we're going to stop off at first. So as we land, we'll see that this area is now inhabited by a bunch of these blue bokoblin guys, but we have the Master Sword, which means these guys are in for a world of hurt. So what I like to do is just essentially get them all angry here, get them all lined up, do some spin attacks, do some normal strikes, and they're all gone. You can imagine how much of a pain those guys would have been with our old sword, you know, when they each took like 3 hits and a finishing blow. Now it's just 2 regular strikes or 1 spin attack, and they're done for. It's really nice having this Master Sword, I gotta say. So, of course, our old buddy Gorko's here, and he's mentioning the Blessed Butterflies that are over there. He has no musical ability. We've been over this. So, of course, that's our hint that we need to go over here. This is actually going to be an introduction to a mechanic that we have seen many times before. So let's go ahead and play the harp, and, of course, the goddess wall is going to appear. However, this is all new to Gorko. So his heart stopped, apparently. I might want to fix that. Okay, well, oh, there's actually more to do here. Let's go and talk to Gorko again. He's going to talk about an ancient volume. Yeah, let's see what it's got to say. It says, Arrow in Repose. If we strike targets from afar, draw that shape so it may be known. And of course, we are now tasked with solving the riddle. If you can't figure it out, we have to draw an arrow on this thing. So let's get our Skyward Strike charged. It should figure that out. Yep, there we go. So once we draw the correct symbol, he's of course going to be very surprised. Figures out that's what it means. And this time, he's actually got a little bit of reward for us. He's going to give us a piece of heart. So cool, only 1 more to collect. Awesome. We're definitely getting those left and right here. So he wants us to come back and help him out. We don't have to. It doesn't really matter that much. But as long as we got the piece of heart, that's what we came here for. So now we can head into the sealed temple from kind of the back door here. And inside, of course, the Gate of Time is waiting for us, as well as the old lady of the temple and Groose as well. Looks like he's stuck around. So let's go ahead and check this thing out. And she's going to point out a few things. She, of course, notices our sword. Sacred flames have purified the blade and holds tremendous power. We've pretty much figured that out, I think. Now we, of course, have to open the Gate of Time. Now that we have an adequate sword, we can use a Skyward Strike and hopefully wake it up. So she wants me to climb up on the pedestal, even though I'm already there, and go ahead and show this thing our power. So let's do it. Oh, that can't be good. And of course, yes, the seal's given way once again. The terrible beast that we fought, it's actually been quite a while. But it's now woken back up, and of course reacted to our sword, so that's just kind of the way things go. So this time, however, Groose isn't quite the coward he was the first time. Looks like he's been working on something, time to break out his new toy. So yeah, we'll see what he's talking about once we head out there. Since we went in the back way, we didn't actually get to see it, so it's going to be kind of cool to reveal it this way, I think. Alright, so let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get out there. And as we head forward, we can see something above us, this little wooden platform here. As we'll get out a little more, Groose is going to call for our attention. And it looks like he's been busy since we've been away. So he has been working on this amazing super weapon. See, that's a very large bomb there. And of course, he calls it the Groosinator. I mean, what else was he going to call it, right? So he's going to kind of point out all the stuff this thing can do. It looks like he's ran some track all the way around the outside of this place. And didn't even know he had the talent to make something like this. Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive, you know? You wouldn't have guessed at the very beginning of the game that Groose would have made this and was helping us out in this way. So that's pretty cool if you ask me. So unfortunately, it's not quite ready yet. He's got to make a few final adjustments, so we can't just fire straight away. But he'll, of course, let us know whenever it's ready, so that's good. For now, though, we have to head down and deal with it ourselves, so let's do it. Yeah, but of course, there's the seal from where we sealed it away the first time. Our little triangle symbol there. Unfortunately, it's breaking, and out comes the monster. And we get to fight the imprisoned once again. Looks like he's coming with a pair of arms this time. And of course, he starts slowly stomping towards us. You know, looks like he grew himself a pair of hands. He's taunting. Shouldn't you be like working on this thing and not sitting there taunting it? Alright, so this is the imprisoned. You can see it's got the same pattern it did before. It's going to be slowly walking towards us. If you remember last time, once we had the shockwave footstep kind of thing going on, it was kind of annoying, and this is actually, it starts out at that phase this time. So what we can actually do, I think we might get interrupted with a scene, or not. We can hop on here, and you can see this is actually a much quicker and much easier way. Just jump on top of the thing's head from the platform above it, smash the spike down into its head 3 times, and that'll save you the trouble of having to take out its feet, you know, knock it over, run around behind it, all that good stuff. So that actually makes this go a lot quicker, and it's like just as legitimate. You know, it still only takes 3 passes to do it that way. I think we're going to get interrupted with the scene here in just a couple more steps, probably. Or maybe not. Usually by this point, Groose has got his stuff working. I've never actually hit him twice before Groose got it working. This is really interesting, actually. Alright, so at this point he's going to start sliding around. Okay, well now it's ready. You're a little late. I've only got 1 hit left at this point. Okay, so now we can just go ahead and make our way up. We're probably going to go up another level too, because he's going to be sliding around for a while. So we can go ahead and do that. Now, we just pretty much have to wait. It makes the battle like a lot less annoying when you can just stand up here and wait for him, you know? I may have to run with him a little bit here, though. Alright, looks like he's finally decided to stop. He made it up a good way, though. Alright, so out he comes once more, and I'm not sure if we're finally going to get the scene that I've been waiting for here. Maybe not. But anyway, Groose has called for us. We can now use him, so we can press up to call him, and we'll get to use his Groosinator here. We can adjust our position with the control stick, aim with the Wii remote. Pretty simple. So once we get the tutorial out of the way, you can pretty much, you don't really have to move. You can pretty much just aim right at the guy, then fire. And then once you hit him, he'll be stunned. And he'll basically just stand there for a pretty long time, actually. He stands still for about a minute or something like that, so you've got plenty of time to get to him. So from this point, he's standing perfectly still. We can just jump right on top and deliver the final 3 strikes. Now, what usually happens, I'm surprised I managed to skip this somehow. I guess I'm like using pro speedrunning strategies or something, I don't know. But what usually happens is with his new arms, he will sometimes turn around and start trying to actually just climb up the side of the wall. And that's the point where you would be prompted to use Groose in order to knock him back down. But I guess we just did it so fast he didn't get a chance to, so at least we got to use Groose anyway. But that's the imprisoned the second time. Okay, so of course that's our cue to get back down there and seal this guy back up once again. And it looks like we were successful. Nice. So he says we couldn't have done it without him. We probably could have, actually. But we'll let him have his little moment of glory. So now that we've taken care of sealing away the imprisoned beast once again, we can head back to the temple and now finally activate that Gate of Time. So we're going to have to make our way up a couple of these events here. And this will put us up on the top level, where we can head right into the temple. Okay, so thankfully this time, nothing's standing in our way. However, we're still going to get talked at a little bit. And yeah, Groose actually pulled his own weight this time, what do you know? See, I think I've said this before, but I really like the way that Groose does develop throughout the game. You know, it's kind of telegraphed and it's kind of stereotypical. You know, he starts out kind of the dunce and, you know, the guy who just, like, makes fun of you all the time and ends up actually kind of respecting you a bit and helping you out and being useful. Like, you can kind of see it coming a mile away, but I like it. I think it works well. And Groose's character is pretty cool, too. So she says there's a lot she could tell us about what we're actually fighting out there, which is true. We don't really know a whole lot about it. But unfortunately, we can seal it and reseal it 1,000 times, but it'll always come back. So we're going to have to destroy it at its source. Of course, this makes sense. So Groose is going to simplify it, saying we need to charge our sword with Sacred Force stuff and zap the Gate of Time. Right on, Granny. I love that one. And she just goes, indeed. Okay, so now finally we can activate this Gate of Time. We've been trying to do it for a little while now. So there's the Gate of Time. That's pretty cool, you gotta admit. I love the formation of that. That's a really cool looking scene. So at last, we've reactivated the gate. And now this path transcends the flow of time. And it's where Zelda is now waiting for us. Of course, it wouldn't be a Zelda game without some form of time travel or alternate world travel or something like that. You know, that's just kind of how it goes. So we fought so hard for Zelda this whole time. It's been quite a while we've been fighting now. And she lies just beyond the gate. So Link actually looks back at Groose here, which is pretty cool. And he tells her not to worry about him. He's going to hang back. So yep, someone's got to stick around and guard the place. Might as well be him. So he's kind of accepting that he's not quite the hero of legend that he thought he was the first time, you know. And he's going to say something, but ends up deciding against it. See, and this is a line that I actually really like. He just says, "Tell her I said what's up," you know? It's one of those things that you may not really think about too much, but that could have easily been some kind of line that, like, people don't really say in real life. Like, tell her I said hello, you know, something like that. Like, that's not really what someone would casually say. Groose just says, tell her I said what's up, you know? So that, I think just little lines like that, stuff you don't really even think about, and stuff maybe I'm overanalyzing a bit, kind of points towards the strength of the writing of this game in places. So, you know, it's definitely something good it's got going for us. For now, though, Groose has taken his leave, and we've activated the Gate of Time here. That's a pretty interesting little visual effect. Kind of like it. So yes, here we are in the Temple of Hylia. You know, it's the same place, bird statue's still here, we still got this place to sit. You know, a little place where you could plant something if you wanted. You know, all this stuff is still here. Unfortunately, no, you can't go through the doors, you can't go through the back doors either, so we're kind of limited to this one room, but well, you know, it's not too bad. Looks like Impa's waiting for us here, so let's see what she's got to say. Alright, so she's gonna dumb things down for us, which is good. So this is the Temple of Hylia, of course, the past counterpart to the Sealed Temple in our present time. And here's the first time I believe we see the name Demise. Hylia's just sealed him away. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Demise in the coming scenes. But, yeah, we've passed through the Gate of Time to the distant past. So she's saying for now I need to proceed through those back doors. It looks like Zelda's back there. Alright, well, I won't ask any more questions. We've been searching for Zelda for quite a while. Yeah, so during this first part, I'll kind of guide us through it a little bit. There's going to be a lot of plot explanation. So, of course, we're going to talk about Demise a little bit. You know, fairy tales we heard about the war in Skyloft, they're actually completely real, as is the case a lot of the time with these games. Okay, so she's going to explain to us the whole story. Let's see if we can digest it all, shall we? So, of course, she's going to start out by mentioning the supreme power, the Triforce. That seems to be Zelda's role, is explaining the Triforce to us. And this guy, Demise, came up with this massive army of monsters and sought to take the Triforce for himself. However, the goddess feared for her people, sent both them and the Triforce to the sky, and the floating rock became known as Skyloft. Okay, that kind of makes sense. So, of course, Hylia eventually succeeded in sealing Demise away, but soon after, we knew the seal wouldn't hold long. Alright, so in order to put an end to this, she had two separate things going on. And I love Link's face. Like, dude, your mouth. Like, close your mouth. What are you doing? So you may have figured out the two separate plans. First off, she created Fi, and of course created her to assist the chosen hero, and the second plan was to abandon her form, transfer her soul to the body of a mortal. Alright, so she also gave up her divine powers and her immortal form in the process. And of course, we've probably figured it out, but yes, we're the chosen hero, and she is the second part of the plan, the goddess reborn as a mortal. And of course, I guess we can mention at this point, obviously Zelda's lullaby playing in the background there, pretty nice touch. So she's recalling her times going to all the different fountains, meeting Impa, and all this is part of the same effort to prevent the revival of Demise, which is essentially the big ultimate evil in this game. So he now takes the shape of an abomination, which is essentially what we've been fighting the last couple times that we keep sealing him back. Alright, and with Zelda / Hylia's blessing, the Master Sword has at last achieved its ultimate form. It's now imbued with the mythical power to drive back demons, and of course, only wieldable by the chosen hero. So there we have it. Yeah, that's probably my favorite scene in the game. If you were to ask me which one, if I had to pick one, I would probably pick that one. Link's expressions are really, really good, and like that sudden urgency when he like runs towards her, you know, as she starts to enter that sleep. I think it's really well done, actually. So, you know, it's definitely one of my favorite parts of the game for sure. So, unfortunately, Zelda is now back there, locked in a sleep, I guess, in order to maintain the seal on Demise as best she can. So, unfortunately, the only way we're going to be able to wake her up is to actually defeat Demise, pretty much demolishing the need for that seal in the first place and allowing her to wake from her sleep. So, we've now learned a lot more about the backstory behind all this, and also learned about our true enemy that we need to be facing. So, anyway, I think this looks like a pretty good place to stop for now, and next time I guess we can have a chat with Impa for a little bit, and then head back in our present time and continue our journey. So until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.